Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Junie and Nicole's vlog. For today's vlog guys, we are talking about how we first met, so on and so forth. Okay guys, this is my fiancé William.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the vlog. We thought today we'd do something a little different. We'd tell you a little bit about how me and Junie Lee met, the time frame, how it all came about. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and if you'd like to help us with the channel, you can donate in the description below. We'll be right back.
Okay guys, see you guys. Okay guys, welcome back. Now we'll talk about what we first met and my love story with him.
Yeah, kind of like it was, we kind of met on like a lot of people have that were in a long distance relationship, or LDR as they're called. I had heard a lot about the Philippines at my job I was working at back in the States. I'm from Philadelphia, if you can't tell, with the Phillies hat on. And so I heard about the Philippines from some co-workers. And I went on to a site called Filipino Cupid, got on there for about a month's subscription. And that's where I met Junie Lee. We began to kind of like text back and forth. Things kind of happened from there, and then we end up giving each other our emails. And one thing led to another. Next thing we started doing some video chatting. And that's kind of like how we went. That was 2019,
Yes.
right? May. She remembers the month. But I think that, you know, for anybody that wants to be in an LDR relationship, it was difficult, especially when we started out. It was 2019. One of the things that I was always told by other vloggers was that once you do meet someone, and you have to filter your way through, because there's a lot of this and there's a lot of things that are not so good on a lot of the dating sites, but you have to kind of like find somebody, have a feel for it, somebody's not asking you for money, and I'm saying this from the foreigner's point of view, and meet somebody that just wants to talk to you. And we're talking pre-pandemic, it was 2019. So I thought that within a month of talking to Junie Lee, I think the next month, I had got a plane ticket and told her I was coming to meet her.
Yeah, I remember it.
And so kind of like, next thing I had some money set aside. I was looking to go on vacation, and another guy that worked with me, he was looking to come to the Philippines too. Now I will tell you this, it's a long flight. It's 16 hours one way. We caught a plane from JFK in New York, and it was 16 hours one way. We flew on Philippine Air, but we were determined to go over, and we just knew that the climate was going to be great. You know, I would think that you need to have at least 3 weeks, you know, to come over, because flying is such a long flight there and back. And once you get here, you're going to enjoy all the weather, the beaches, you know, everything is just so much different, and you'll want to find out a lot about those things. But me and Junie Lee, we kind of met. She flew in from
Mindanao.
and so kind of like
I come here from Cebu, Mindanao to Cebu.
she flew in. We met at a hotel in Cebu. I had to fly from Manila to Cebu the next day after my flight. Caught another flight to Cebu. We met at a hotel, and we kind of like sat down and ate, got to know each other. And from there, things just went on. One thing led to another. We really had planned a trip to Bataan Island, and we wanted to see if we really got along and were compatible first. I mean, you meet somebody from halfway across the world. Remember, the U.S., where I'm coming from, was Philadelphia, is 8,500 miles away from the Philippines. She had to get to know me, feel comfortable with me, and I had to get to know her and feel comfortable with her. Am I right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, what do you think? We went out to eat some seafood?
Yeah, we eat seafoods, we go there in Bantayan, and we have a great memories there.
Yeah, we had a good time at Bataan Island, but you know, she had to get comfortable with me first, even though we talked quite a bit online. We talked, you know, every day.
We just talked only 1 month in online.
Right. And remember, the time difference is a 12-hour difference, and 13 hours when the U.S. turns their clocks off back and forth. So it's like I had to get up early in the morning to talk to her, which would have been evening here, and vice versa. So if you're going to be in a long distance relationship, you're going to have to want to really be involved, because you're going to have to give of your time and sacrifice of your time, both parties, to really want to talk to each other. So we just thought that after a month of doing that, I was ready to go meet her in person, and she was ready to do the same.
Yes, I remember it.
And so that was the first time I came over. That was
Then after that, it's a big problem happens for 2 years about the pandemic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the pandemic happened. We had such a great time. I stayed for 3 weeks. We left to go back. I forget exactly what month it was we were at that first time in 2019. But we left. I left. And of
July.
course, I didn't want to
You
leave.
come here July.
It was July. And I actually was sad when I had to leave because we had hit it off. We got along very well. You know, it's hard not to, get very romantic. We're on an island called Battalion Island where she's singing karaoke. We're out there,
I'm
it's
shy.
under the full moon. And of course, the love bug bit. We really got kind of really infatuated with one another. And we promised that we would keep talking and that, I would come back again. And kind of like then, as Junie Louis said, the pandemic hit. And we know how hard, how hard the pandemic was for every LDR couple. For 2 years. It was
Yes.
a little over 2 years that we weren't able to see each other. We could not come. They shut the borders down to all the countries. There was no flights. And a lot of relationships did not survive the pandemic, but we were determined that we felt we had something between each other that would last, and we were determined to make it work, especially on her part. I mean, she went out her way, and I'm sure she had other offers from guys that were over here, but she hung in there and said she wanted to be in the relationship that she had started. And so we worked our way through it day by day, and it was long and it was difficult. It wasn't easy, right?
Yes, not easy. You're far away for 2 years. We don't see each other.
Yeah, she left back from Cebu where she met me at, because she had came from Mindanao. So she went back home to Mindanao, and her daughter was back in Mindanao, Natalie. So she had to go back.
How long we've been together now?
We've been together now. It's 2023.
19.
I guess it'll be 4 years in May. Am I right?
4 years or running 5 years?
Could be. I know we met in 2019,
19.
so it's probably 4
4
years.
4 years.
I think it'll be 4 years in May, I believe. Give or take a little more. But yeah, so what happened? We came back again. I came back again after the pandemic was over. Right before I came back when you still had to wear a mask. Right before the pandemic really set in. Am I right?
Yeah.
You were still able to travel right before the pandemic set in. It was still kind of like starting to get really bad. And I think that was in 2020, right?
20.
Came over with my friend. And let me tell you, we almost got stuck here.
Yeah.
We
Almost stuck. Everything's closed. I said, oh, you need to go out in the country now.
But
Because you will be stuck here for, I don't know, when it's time to go back again.
we came back here and we stayed another 18 or so days. And we had to rush back we got a call from the airline personnel that we had to get back to Manila because we had to get our flights, which they, had the president at that time said everyone that was a foreigner had to leave the country within 2 days. And remember, we were here in some resort, and my friend was on an island. And so long story short, we had to get back to Manila, which we did. Got our flight back to the U.S., and then everything was closed down, all the way down until
2 years. For 2 years.
2 years. I think the next time that I came back was when? January, February, March of 2022, correct?
Yeah.
For a month. This is the third time I came back. And so we got together then, we rented a condo that Junie Lai found. She's good at finding real estate. And we kind of like took a trial run, seeing what it would be like to be together with Natalie, Nicole, her daughter. Because the first time Natalie was back in Mindanao, this time that she actually was with us staying. I'm sure that Junie Lai wanted to see how I got along with her daughter, because no mother is going to want to get into a long-term relationship with a guy that's not going to get along with their child. So me and Natalie, we got along, and kind of like we decided when I went back, where I was going to go back, I was going to make all the arrangements to come and retire. I was 66 at the time. So I had just retired and I had planned to come back and move. And so we came back I came back in 2020,
September 2022.
22
September.
in October. I came back on October 7th. And I've been here ever since. Juni and I went out and got us a nice place to live here in a 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms in Bayswater subdivision. That's in Lapu. I mean, a place like this in a gated community in a subdivision would probably cost you $2,500 in the U.S., no matter where you're at. Especially if you were somewhere that's not far away from water, from beach areas. Here, we're living here for $20,000 a month in pesos, 20,000 pesos a month. But we got engaged. We forgot to say that.
Yeah, we're engaged.
The last time that I came, I proposed. We got engaged so she would wait for me. And so now we're kind of like going through our lives. We're going to be planning a wedding probably sometime this year. Her family and her sisters, her brother-in-law, her mother, we all got to met with her sisters. We've done a lot of things together, her brother-in-law. So get along with the family. I've talked to her mom numerous times and her stepdad. Because if you come to the Philippines, guys, and you have a Filipina, remember, it's not like the West. The family is going to be part of your life. So you may as well just get used to that. You're not going to have all to yourself all the time. You'll have to share with the family. And so they're much more family oriented than we are in the West, which is a good thing because we've lost that over in the West. You guys that are from the West that are watching this, you know that. Don't forget, if there's questions or anything that you want to ask us, something we can help for guys that potentially want to come over here. You're already talking and you're in an LDR talking to a Filipina. If there's something that we can help with or help you to do, don't forget to put a comment in. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and we'll be glad to return your comments.
Yes.
Want to say anything?
You can sit.
I mean, I think some of the other things that you guys would like to know, I think that prices are cheaper here, but it's not like real inexpensive. I mean, you're going to pay a lot less in rent. I mean, you're going to pay 20,000 pesos, which is $400 in rent or less. If you're single, you could get a place for 5,000 pesos. Groceries are about the same as over in the West, but you're going to save on the rent is going to be your biggest saving. You don't have to have a car if you don't want to have a car. You can ride tricycles, which a tricycle, if you don't know, is a motorcycle with a sidecar attached to it. Those are very popular here. A motorcycle, which Junila has her own motorcycle. I mean, to take a ride from here to the mall down the street is probably 100 pesos, which is about $2 US. Especially if you're coming from cold weather, you're going to enjoy this. If you're from the east, where I'm from, there's not going to be any winter like we know it. There's no snow. The average is about 80 degrees. Nighttime is like 75 degrees. That's about cool as it's going to get. So if you like warm weather, this is the place to be. And I also would say it's a place that you can regain your youth. You can go back to a nicer time. The music they play over here is like the 70s and the 80s. It's almost like it takes you back to a more pleasant time. You don't have to be stress-filled all the time. You can sit down and relax. And when you're with a Filipina, she's not going to do you the same as maybe you have been used to in the West. A lot of people say, well, they're very jealous. No, it's not that they're very jealous. They're just they like being around you, which is a different thing for us. They're not trying to go out with all their girlfriends. They're trying to spend time with you. Karaoke is another thing. If you ever used to sing in the shower and you thought you had a good voice, well, you can find out if you really had one here. Because everybody likes karaoke. Karaoke is a big deal. There's going to be a karaoke machine or a store or a studio somewhere around. So I think that, those of you who are planning on coming over, remember, you're going to need at least 2 weeks, minimum, because the flight is 16 hours. But I think that, like any other relationship, you have to cultivate it. You can't talk on Cupid or Christian Filipina for 2 and 3 years and not meet your fiance or your girlfriend in person, because that person could be totally different in person than they are talking on LDR. You might not like each other when you meet each other in person. So you're going to have to spend time with them. So it's going to be a sacrifice on our part to make sure you get there. Because remember, they probably been talking to other guys online when they met you. Not because they were trying to do anything wrong, but they were trying to find somebody that would actually really come over. Because I'm quite sure other guys said they were coming. Am I right? Mm-hmm. That never came. So if you come, you're going to have their attention. And, you know, they're going to love you if you love them. You know, you find things that you have in common. Of course, Junilai is over 30 years younger than me. So we have to find the common ground. She likes things I don't like. And I like things she don't like. We don't watch the same shows all the time. We don't listen to the same music, even though the music thing was sort of something in common for us. We both kind of like most of the same music. We like the 70s and 80s music. I do anyway. So that was one thing we had in common. But, you know, it's more than just the looks. You're going to fall in love with how beautiful they are. But, you know, there's got to be more to it than that. You have to find things that you have in common. You know, me being a person that's very spiritual, I'm a Christian, so I bring that to the table. I believe that we as Western guys got to bring some kind of values with us. They have to know that we're not going to be looking at every woman that's outside your house, or every time you go out the mall, you got to worry about reeling your eyes back in. You know, so you kind of be faithful to them too, because they're going to be faithful to you. So I think that if you really are thinking about coming over to the Philippines to visit, which I hope you do, I think it's a great place to come visit. It's almost like Hawaii without all the money. It's Key West without all the money. You're never going to get the prices in Hawaii or in Florida or even in LA or California that you're going to get here. The most money you're going to spend here is getting here. Everything else, you can go out and eat in a restaurant with the whole family of your girlfriend and yourself, and you could eat a buffet and everything, and you're going to spend less than
buffet seafoods,
what you're used to spending there. You might spend $35, maybe $50 on 7-8 people, if that. And that's going to be for all that you can eat and more. So I think that those are the things that, you know, that's kind of how we met. You got to keep having future plans. You know, we're planning on going to the Bohol Island at the end of the month. We're going to do a couple vlogs from there. We're going to come back one day and sit down with a lot of people always want to know, what's the budget? We're going to come back one day.
For my next vlog, guys.
We're going to tell you what our budget is.
Our budget in a month here.
What we spend for a month. Got to have if you're coming over for a vacation for 3 weeks, it don't matter. You can bring money over. You know, bring $2,500, bring $3,000, not counting yours, and you'll be fine. Bring as much as you can. But $2,500, $3,000 for 3 weeks is more than enough. But if you're coming over here to retire, guys, you need to have a regular income. You need to have savings, because you're going to need to have some kind of health care. You're going to need to have money for things that come up, emergencies, things like that. Some kind of fail-safe, but mainly a regular income, because you could run through your money even though things are cheaper here. You tend to spend more because it's cheaper. So I think that if you have a regular income, and we won't go into the budget part of it, but a lot of guys have different ideas about budget. We're just going to tell you what ours is when the time comes. And that doesn't mean it has to be for everybody, but it kind of gives you an idea.
Yeah, the idea. How much you will spend a month.
You know, and as with any relationship, it takes work. I mean, I just basically think that having a Filipina fiance, she's much more laid back than I was used to. But she's not a yes person. She's going to tell you her opinion. She's going to tell you what she thinks. But she's not going to be bossy. She's not going to. She's feminine. She wants to be a woman. She's not trying to be a boss. She's not trying to tell a man what to do. And that's very refreshing for us men from the West. A lot of people will ask, well, William, what about the black man issue over in the Philippines? Well, I'll tell you this. I've experienced no racism here. No racism like we do in the West. You could walk down the street in any city in the U.S. and experience racism on any given day. I haven't experienced it at all here. If anything, the reason people stared at me because I'm tall, I'm 6'2", I'm considered tall here. They're looking at me because they think I'm a rapper or a ball player, so they're looking at you out of curiosity, not racism. But I think that I can't speak for Junilai's point of view. I'm sure that she's with a black American, and I'm sure her friends and even family ask her how's that. But I've been treated very well here as a black American. I don't sense any negative vibes at all when I'm going around with Junie Lee.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm good.
You good with the black and white issue?
Black and white. You're black and I'm white. You look and see. What's the difference? The big difference? It's fine, right?
Yeah, it works for us.
It's matching.
If you have love, like Lionel Richie said, love conquers all. And if you love each other, you're going to work on your relationship like any other relationship that you have, whether it's in Asia or whether it's in the U.S. or any other place. But I think that there's a lot of things that are very good to come over here and see. The culture, the food, the scenery and the sights, the islands, some of the places that we're going to show you as we're going are just so beautiful. If you've never been to anywhere like that, it's going to be breathtaking to you. Some of the islands, some of the beaches, it's breathtaking to you. Even if you're only coming over here to visit on a vacation, it's a must-see. It's a bucket list event. You may never be able to have enough money to go to Hawaii. You may never have enough money to go to Key West or some of the places in Florida or in San Diego. But if you can have enough for an airplane flight here, which is about $1,200 round trip, that's the most money that you will spend. If you come here, you'll get to, enjoy all those places that you could never enjoy for the money you're spending there. You could probably get a condo for a month for how much?
Around 30. But it really includes everything.
$30,000 to $600. That's for a whole month. That's including
Everything.
internet. That's including electricity,
water,
everything. And that's for a whole month in a condo with a pool, with everything. So where could you go in Florida for $600? Everything included. 85-degree weather. Beaches that are a ferry ride away. It's not going to happen, guys. I know. I've been to Florida many times. I was in the military and I travel around. It's not going to happen. And it's only getting higher there in the U.S. that I know. So it might be something that you want to put on your bucket list and come over. Not counting that if you're in a long distance relationship, that your girl's going to be there to show you all around. And I'm sure you want to get here to see her. So if there's anything that we can kind of help with, don't forget to give that thumbs up. Subscribe. And if you'd like to help us get equipment and do a better job on the vlog, that's what we're planning on doing, you can donate to our channel in the description below. We appreciate you guys watching, and we're planning on doing more things. We want to do some. We've had people ask us about walking around, some walking talks. We've had people ask us about budgets. We've had people ask us about walk around and just do different videos from different sites so they can see what it looks like. A lot of people want to get the feeling of what it feels like, and we're going to be doing some of them things. As you notice, the vlog is called Junie and Nicole's vlog, but don't forget William. He's in here too.
Yeah. Okay, guys. After you see you soon to my next video, guys. See you bye now.
See you later. We'll talk to you next time.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.